After 50, peace of mind often feels like something slipping through your fingers. You wake up calm, but by noon, your thoughts won't slow down. It is not just in your head. Hormone changes, shifting sleep patterns, and loneliness can all rewrite how your brain handles emotions. But emotional balance is not lost. It just needs to be retrained. In this video, you will learn simple, science-backed methods to rebuild that calm again. Stay till the end, because the second-to-last method might truly surprise you. There is also a bonus tip waiting for you. Let's start with something that pulls your mind out of racing thoughts within seconds. It is a small sensory technique backed by medical research, helping your body feel grounded and safe even in chaos. We are beginning with sensory grounding. Sensory grounding techniques are one of the simplest yet most powerful ways to bring your mind back to calm when everything feels overwhelming. They work by teaching your brain to stay in the present moment instead of running through endless what-if thoughts. According to behavioral studies from the Mayo Clinic, this practice can physically lower your heart rate and reduce spikes in emotional stress by activating the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your body that signals rest and recovery. When this system is active, your body moves away from survival mode and returns to a state where healing and balance become possible. The most common and effective method is called the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. It guides you to slowly reconnect with your surroundings through your senses. Start by naming 5 things you can see. It could be the light on the wall, the shape of a chair, or even the color of your hands. As you describe each one to yourself, your brain shifts attention away from anxious thoughts and into the safety of the present. Then move to 4 things you can touch. Feel their temperature, texture, and weight. This tactile input reminds your nervous system that you are physically safe right now. After that, identify 3 things you can hear. Try to notice subtle sounds like a clock ticking, a distant conversation, or the hum of an appliance. Each sound keeps your awareness grounded instead of drifting into worry. Next, find 2 things you can smell, maybe the scent of soap or something cooking nearby. Finally, notice 1 thing you can taste, even if it is just the lingering flavor in your mouth. Pairing this method with slow, deep breathing multiplies its effect. When you breathe steadily for 3 to 5 cycles, it signals to your body that there is no immediate danger. This physiological cue can reset the rhythm of your heartbeat and slow down stress hormones like cortisol. Have you ever noticed how your breathing becomes shallow when anxious? This simple combination helps reverse that pattern and teaches your brain that calm is safe again. There are also beautiful variations of grounding you can adapt to your lifestyle. Nature grounding, for instance, involves walking barefoot for a few minutes on clean grass or sand. The physical connection to the earth has been linked by several wellness centers to lower inflammation markers and improve mood stability. Another form is tactile grounding. Holding objects with gentle textures such as smooth stones, polished wood, or soft fabric can redirect restless energy. You can also try aroma grounding, using mild essential oils like chamomile or bergamot. These scents are known to engage the limbic system, the emotional part of the brain, and help release tension. The best part is that you can use these methods anywhere. They work during emotional overload, sleepless nights, or even when you feel disconnected from yourself. You can do them while sitting on a chair, lying in bed, or walking outdoors. The more you practice, the faster your body learns to recognize calm as its default state. Still, consistency matters. Many people rush through the steps without really noticing what they are sensing. That is one of the most common mistakes. Grounding only works when your full attention is present. Another mistake is using overpowering scents or bright lights that overstimulate instead of soothe. Gentle input always works better because your brain reads it as safe rather than alerting. What is the one moment in your day when your thoughts feel the loudest? That might be the best time to try grounding. You might be surprised how quickly your body responds once you give it a signal of safety. Now that we have calmed the body's immediate stress reaction, it is time to work on the mind itself and reshape how it processes negative thoughts. The next part focuses on training your brain to think in a more balanced, rational way. Let's continue with cognitive reframing exercises. Before we continue, I want to know where you are watching from and how you manage stress or emotional challenges after 50. If you are working to maintain peace of mind naturally, make sure to subscribe to Psyche and Wisdom and turn on notifications. If this video helps, type 1 in the comments or 0 if it does not. Cognitive reframing exercises are one of the most effective tools for emotional balance because they train your brain to change how it interprets stressful situations. This method is deeply rooted in cognitive behavioral therapy, a psychological approach supported by the University of Pennsylvania research, showing that thought restructuring can reduce anxiety, depression, and emotional instability. When you reframe a thought, you are not ignoring your feelings. You're changing the perspective that feeds them. Your mind stops reacting automatically and starts responding with reason. Over time, this process rewires neural pathways responsible for emotional regulation, helping you recover faster from distressing moments. Every man experiences automatic negative thoughts that appear without conscious effort. They often sound like, "I am losing control," or "nothing ever goes right." These thoughts may seem true because they are tied to fear responses that evolved to protect us from danger. However, most modern stress is psychological, not physical, which means the same survival mechanism now activates unnecessarily. The goal of cognitive reframing is to identify these false alarms and replace them with grounded truths. When you start thinking, "This is uncomfortable, but I can handle it," your brain receives a balanced message that prevents overreaction. The amygdala, which triggers emotional intensity, gradually calms down, while the prefrontal cortex, responsible for rational decision-making, becomes more active. This is not about pretending that everything is fine. It's about teaching your brain to interpret reality in a healthier, more accurate way. To practice this, start by writing the thought that troubles you. Seeing it on paper helps separate it from your identity and gives you distance to assess it objectively. Then ask 3 questions that guide your reasoning. Is this thought absolutely true? What evidence supports or challenges it? What would I say if my friend shared the same worry? These questions activate logical processing rather than emotional reaction. You may notice that most negative thoughts lack solid evidence or come from assumptions built over time. By analyzing them, you weaken their emotional power. Once you have identified the distortion, create a more balanced version. For example, change "everyone has moved on without me" to "people care, and sometimes I just need to reach out first." This subtle shift turns self-blame into empowerment. Small tools can make this practice easier. You can use thought cards where you write replacement phrases or use digital journaling applications that remind you of healthier responses. Try to create 3 or 4 statements that feel realistic and manageable. Repeat them when stress appears. Consistency builds mental resilience because your brain learns through repetition. Over time, these replacement thoughts become your new automatic responses, replacing old patterns that triggered anxiety or guilt. Still, timing matters. Do not try reframing in the middle of emotional chaos. During intense emotions, your body is flooded with stress hormones that block rational thinking. Instead, pause, breathe deeply for a few cycles, and wait for the intensity to drop before working on your thought. This small delay improves clarity. Another mistake is confusing reframing with toxic positivity. You're not denying what hurts, you are processing it with perspective. Realistic optimism acknowledges pain, but adds hope and control. That's what strengthens emotional stability instead of covering it with empty encouragement. What thought keeps returning to your mind no matter how much you try to push it away? Write it down and see if it still feels as strong once you question it with reasoning instead of fear. You may be surprised how quickly your perception shifts when you look at it with reasoning instead of fear. If this is helpful so far, please take a moment to like this video. It may seem small, but it tells YouTube that this content matters and helps Psyche and Wisdom reach more people who need these strategies. Tap that thumbs up if you agree.
We have now strengthened the mind to stay balanced internally, but calm thinking needs support from the body too. The next part focuses on creating a physical rhythm that matches mental peace, one that is simple, natural, and backed by neuroscience. Let's continue with rhythmic breathing and gentle movement synchronization. Rhythmic breathing combined with gentle movement is one of the most natural ways to bring emotional and physical balance into harmony. This practice is supported by the Stanford Center for Stress and Health, which has shown that synchronized breathing and motion can stabilize the nervous system and regulate heart rate variability. When you breathe rhythmically, your body shifts from the stress-driven sympathetic state to the calmer parasympathetic mode, which is responsible for rest and recovery. Every inhale signals the body to activate energy, while every exhale communicates safety and calm. That back-and-forth rhythm builds emotional steadiness over time, creating a sense of quiet strength that older adults often describe as peace in motion. To start, focus on a simple breathing rhythm of 5 seconds in and 5 seconds out. Pair this with smooth, light arm movements, lifting your arms as you inhale and lowering them as you exhale. This coordination may look simple, but it activates both physical and mental synchronization. It connects breathing patterns to muscle movement, forming a steady loop of awareness between your lungs, heart, and brain. Studies on mindfulness-based movement have found that even 8 to 10 minutes of this routine twice daily can lower cortisol levels and blood pressure, improving both mood and cardiovascular stability. The body's systems begin to move in rhythm rather than conflict, which is essential for emotional regulation after the age of 50, when internal stress tolerance often decreases naturally. The environment also influences how deeply this method works. Try practicing in soft daylight or near a window, where the natural rhythm of nature supports your body's internal clock. Over time, this routine improves balance, flexibility, and energy levels. Many people find that it reduces morning stiffness and promotes better sleep at night. This method is particularly effective for adults over 50 because it strengthens circulation and releases endorphins without putting strain on the joints. Those endorphins are not just mood boosters, they also reduce pain sensitivity and promote emotional resilience. Regular rhythmic breathing increases oxygen supply to the brain, which enhances clarity, memory, and decision-making. That is why therapists often combine breathing rhythm with movement in stress management programs. When your breath and body move together, your emotional system becomes steadier. You start responding to challenges with measured calm instead of reactive tension. However, there are a few things to watch for. Do not force deep breaths if your body is not ready for it. Overextending the lungs too quickly can lead to dizziness or lightheadedness, especially in people who are new to structured breathing. Start at your own pace and let your breath lengthen naturally over several sessions. Also, pay attention to posture. If you lift your shoulders or breathe only from the upper chest, your body receives less oxygen and your muscles tense unnecessarily. Keep your shoulders relaxed and let the abdomen expand as you breathe in. It may help to place one hand on your belly to feel the movement. Have you noticed how your breath changes when you feel anxious or sad? Most people start breathing shallowly without even realizing it. Paying attention to that pattern is the first step in regaining control. Try practicing this technique for just a few days and see how your mind and body respond. The improvement can be surprisingly quick when you give both your breath and body a rhythm they can follow. Calm breathing helps your internal world settle, but true emotional stability also depends on meaningful human connection.
The next step focuses on something equally powerful yet often overlooked: creating consistent routines that strengthen social bonds and emotional peace. Let's turn our attention to structured social connection rituals. Structured social connection rituals are one of the most powerful and underrated tools for maintaining emotional stability after the age of 50. According to research from the University of Michigan, adults who maintain consistent weekly social contact experience up to 25% lower levels of stress hormones, such as cortisol. When social interaction becomes predictable and positive, the brain releases oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone. Oxytocin creates feelings of safety, trust, and belonging, which directly reduce anxiety and emotional volatility. This is not just about having company, it is about having routine human connection that provides emotional grounding. The body reacts to social consistency the same way it reacts to healthy sleep patterns or balanced nutrition. It helps regulate the nervous system, stabilize mood, and improve overall well-being. A structured ritual can be as simple as meeting a friend every Thursday for coffee, joining a book club that gathers twice a month, or volunteering weekly in your local community. What matters most is predictability and mutual comfort. Consistent rituals tell your brain that connection is available and reliable, reducing the feeling of unpredictability that often fuels loneliness. Even 10 or 15 minutes of friendly conversation, laughter, or shared activity can boost dopamine and serotonin levels, improving both emotional balance and motivation. Over time, these small social anchors become strong emotional safeguards, helping you stay centered even during stressful periods. For many people, social contact tends to shrink with age due to retirement, relocation, or changing family roles. That is why intentionally scheduling connection is so important. The key is to pick one or two manageable rituals rather than overcommitting to many. For instance, joining a local walking group not only promotes physical activity, but also creates a sense of shared purpose, which enhances emotional resilience. Or maybe you prefer a morning coffee with a close friend, where you share life updates and discuss daily plans. Predictable interactions like these form emotional rhythms that your mind begins to rely on, reducing isolation and emotional fluctuations. You can also try a very practical method called the check-in buddy system. This involves texting or calling one man every day to share one gratitude and one challenge. It sounds simple, but the effects can be profound. Gratitude helps shift focus toward what is working well, while acknowledging a challenge maintains emotional honesty. This balance of positivity and vulnerability deepens trust in relationships and encourages accountability in emotional self-care. Over time, such check-ins create a reliable emotional outlet, reducing the pressure of carrying thoughts alone. Many therapists now recommend this as a structured habit for adults over 50 to maintain both cognitive sharpness and emotional balance. While connection heals, not every social environment contributes positively. Don't surround yourself with negative or draining people who constantly complain or criticize. The emotional atmosphere of your company affects your mental health just as much as diet affects physical health. Also, avoid committing to too many social groups at once. Overcommitment can cause emotional exhaustion, especially when you feel obliged to maintain every relationship at the same level. Focus on quality rather than quantity. A few meaningful relationships provide far more peace than a large circle of superficial ones. Here's a question for you to think about. What do you find harder after 50? Keeping deep friendships or maintaining emotional independence? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. It is a real struggle many people experience, and sharing your perspective could help others who feel the same. Social connection gives strength, but peace of mind also needs mental reflection and quiet processing. To balance social energy with solitude, there is one simple yet powerful habit that clears emotional clutter and strengthens inner stability. Let's proceed to mindful journaling practice, where writing becomes your daily tool for calm self-awareness. Mindful journaling is one of the simplest yet most transformative practices for emotional balance and mental clarity. According to research from Harvard Medical School, expressive writing helps lower cortisol levels, which are stress hormones that can cause fatigue, irritability, and mental fog when they stay high for too long. Writing acts as a gentle release valve for the mind. When emotions that are often buried or unspoken find a safe place on paper, the nervous system begins to calm down naturally. This process activates the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for rational thinking and emotional regulation. Over time, it strengthens your ability to process experiences without getting overwhelmed by them. Let's take a closer look at how this works in daily life. When you write about your thoughts, instead of keeping them in your head, your brain starts to organize them. What felt chaotic or unclear begins to take form, and that clarity alone can bring relief. Many psychologists describe this as cognitive decluttering, a process that reduces mental noise and makes space for calm reasoning. Even 10 minutes of consistent journaling can shift your mental state from reactivity to reflection. It helps you slow down racing thoughts and replace emotional tension with understanding. To make this practice effective, timing and consistency matter. Try to write either in the morning before your day begins or in the evening before sleep. The morning helps you set a clear emotional tone for the day, while the evening helps you release accumulated tension. You do not need to structure your writing like an essay. Just let the words flow without worrying about grammar or perfection. You can start with prompts such as, "What am I grateful for today?" or "What emotion do I need to understand?" Gratitude writing helps train your brain to notice stability and safety, while emotional inquiry builds awareness and self-compassion. When you end your session, write a closing line like, "I am safe and capable right now." This sentence anchors your mind in the present, telling your body that it no longer needs to stay alert or defensive. Let's examine how your environment can make a difference too. Keeping a notebook near your reading chair or bedside table helps make the habit effortless. The closer it is, the fewer excuses your mind will find to avoid it. You can also use gentle background sounds, such as soft piano, light rain, or birdsong. These natural tones activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which promotes rest and relaxation. Many people find that the combination of writing and soothing sound creates a mental space that feels deeply mental and healing. It becomes a moment of quiet conversation between you and your inner self. However, there are a few mistakes that can weaken the benefits of journaling. One common mistake is rereading angry or painful entries. Doing this can re-trigger old emotional responses and keep your brain stuck in the same emotional loops you were trying to release. The purpose of journaling is to let go, not relive. Another mistake is treating journaling as a checklist task. When it becomes a to-do item, the emotional reflection disappears and the practice loses its power. Journaling should always feel like a release, not an obligation. Now here's a question for you. When you write about your feelings, do you notice how your body reacts? Does your breathing slow down or your chest feel lighter afterward? These small physical shifts are signs that your nervous system is calming down. Paying attention to them helps you understand that journaling is not only a mental exercise, but also a physical one. We have strengthened mental focus, body rhythm, and emotional awareness through this journey.
The next step ties all these together by addressing how the body physically stores and releases stress. Moving forward, we will look into weighted blanket and temperature regulation therapy, a practice that can transform how your body finds calm and recovery each night. Weighted blankets combined with temperature regulation offer a surprisingly simple yet highly effective way to support emotional stability and restful sleep. Research from the Cleveland Clinic demonstrates that deep pressure stimulation, the gentle yet firm weight of a blanket, can naturally raise serotonin levels, the neurotransmitter associated with well-being, while reducing nighttime anxiety. This sensation signals the body that it is safe, calming the nervous system and preparing it for restorative sleep. The effect is amplified when paired with an optimal sleep temperature between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit, which helps regulate melatonin release and stabilize cortisol levels, creating a natural rhythm for the body's stress and recovery cycles. To use this technique effectively, select a weighted blanket that is approximately 10% of your body weight. This proportion ensures that the pressure is sufficient to trigger calming effects without causing discomfort or restricting movement. Choosing a breathable cotton or bamboo cover adds comfort and helps maintain airflow, which is especially important as body temperature naturally fluctuates during the night. Additional sensory cues, such as a light lavender diffuser or soft instrumental sounds, can further deepen relaxation by signaling to the brain that it is time to rest. This combination of pressure, temperature, and gentle sensory input strengthens both physical and emotional regulation. It is important to avoid a few common mistakes. Using a blanket that is too heavy can create tension or restrict breathing, which undermines the calming effect. Poor ventilation or non-breathable materials can increase body heat, causing restlessness or even mild stress responses. Starting with the correct weight, ensuring airflow, and layering gentle sensory cues creates a controlled environment where the nervous system can relax fully. Have you noticed how your body reacts to touch and pressure during stressful evenings? Observing those signals can help you adjust your blanket and sleeping environment to optimize calm and restfulness. Weighted blanket and temperature regulation therapy complements all the other practices we have discussed. It supports sensory grounding, enhances the calming effects of rhythmic breathing, and strengthens emotional stability developed through social rituals and journaling. By integrating this method into your nightly routine, you are providing your body with a final layer of structured support that reinforces mental clarity, emotional balance, and physical relaxation. Now that we have covered 6 practical and science-backed methods to restore emotional balance and inner peace, let us take a moment to summarize what you can begin implementing today. Sensory grounding techniques calm the mind instantly through present moment focus. Cognitive reframing shifts automatic negative thoughts into balanced, rational perspectives. Rhythmic breathing and gentle movement align the body with emotional calm. Structured social connection rituals build reliable contact that nourishes peace. Mindful journaling provides a daily tool to process and release stored emotions. Weighted blanket therapy supports deep rest and hormone balance through consistent sensory comfort. Integrating these practices creates a complete system for emotional stability after 50. If you found this video useful, do not leave without subscribing to Psyche and Wisdom. And if you feel this advice supports your emotional balance, type CALM in the comments. I would love to know it helped you.